Just want to show people the financial obstacles that I have been able to dismantle over the past year in the court service. What you see before you here is seven documents: a plenary summons, an ex parte motion, an affidavit which the ex parte motion is grounded in, a notice of motion, and an affidavit that the notice of motion is grounded in. Altogether, these would cost a citizen or anyone living in Ireland €350 just to file into the central office. 190 for your plenary summons, 20 for or 60 for your ex parte motion, that goes before the court, 20 for your affidavit, 60 for your notice of motion, and 20 for your affidavit. So that's €350. Now, €350 is a lot of money when you want to protect your fundamental rights. And in some instances, unfortunately, people go without vindicating their personal rights because of these financial obstacles. Last year, I decided to hold the court services accountable for not adhering to the rules of the superior courts concerning the fee exemption. But to do that, I had to initiate a High Court case. Now, the High Court case is ongoing. There's lots of matters being discussed in the High Court case. But one of the first was the fee exemption. So I got a ruling in July, and that ruling is of a public record in 2025 IE HC 425. On the 7th of July, the High Court ruled that Article 40.4.1 degree proceedings concerning any alleged unlawful detention, confinement or imprisonment, whether presently or in the past, attracted a fee exemption. The court services were not applying that fee exemption. So I won that case, and immediately I filed plenary summonses to see whether the court services, I had plenary summonses to file, but I wanted to file them to see if the court services would adhere to the ruling, which they did not. And I wasn't surprised, because what happens up in the central office is when one person kicks up a fuss, they'll do it for one person, but they won't do it for anyone else until they kick up a fuss. But that wasn't good enough for me, because under Article 40.4.1 degree, all citizens shall, as human persons, be held equal before the law. So I took about suing the court services again for not adhering to this judgment. And that record number is HIA 2025-163. Because even though I could get my plenary summonses and associated documents filed without having to pay hundreds of euro, they were resisting everyone else doing it. So Naomi Tamlin is a principal register of the central office. She's in charge of 35 people that work within there. A lot of them are just fresh out of college, and they always go to the back office for advice. Naomi is a registered solicitor. So even though the people working in the central office can't give any advice to lay litigants coming in, they disappear around the corner to managers who are qualified solicitors, okay? And I said I was going to sue them, hold them accountable to this judgment. And after a few weeks of back and forth, eventually the central office concluded that having regard to the judgment delivered in the case referred to, which was that case there, this one here, okay, referred to, it appears that the exemption is in fact broader than what was thought. So they're busy thinking in there when they should be filing, on the basis set out and the reasons explained in the judgment of Mr. Justice Cregan. So Mr. Justice Cregan created a judgment. The court services were not adhering to that judgment, and I took it upon myself to enforce that judgment. So now anyone that goes into the central office can can get these plenary proceedings filed without having the hassle of arguing with these people in the central office when we're in there exercising our fundamental rights. So there's a lot of work involved in creating these case laws, and not just in the court exercising your rights and putting them into practice, but then putting them to the test and making sure these individuals adhere to the law.